At Redeemer, we feel that the gospel should affect every part of our lives, from our understanding of God to our relationships and even our approach to work. At this time, we'll hear from Lisa Brown, and we'll hear how the gospel shaped her understanding of work. Lisa?
Good evening. I've lived in New York for a little over 3 years now. I'm a pediatric nurse, currently working at 2 different hospitals in the city. Immediately after graduating from college, I moved overseas to live and work as a missionary. For the next 2.5 years, my faith had a clear and direct link to my work. I was paid to learn the culture and the language and the religion of the local people in order to more effectively share the truth of the gospel with them. Although I had my registered nursing license, my nursing duties only concerned my fellow teammates and a small group of beggar children living near us. All of my time and energy was focused on one goal, namely sharing the gospel of Christ. When I returned to the States 2.5 years later, I stepped into a nursing position at a children's hospital in my hometown and experienced a crisis. Living overseas as a missionary, my efforts in partnering with God to advance His kingdom were obvious. My faith and work were clearly defined. Moving into a so-called secular position proved to be confusing and frustrating. I desperately wanted to make a difference in people's lives and glorify God in the way that I lived and worked. I didn't know how to do this exactly, or if it was even possible. I knew that integrating my faith and work as a nurse was not simply an effort to evangelize my coworkers and my patients, but I didn't know exactly what it was. I regularly asked myself what it meant to be a Christian nurse and if it really actually makes a difference in my specific work and occupational field. I know that the gospel, as Matt said, transforms everything, including who I am, how I live, how I interact with the world. I long to explore and understand this. This past September, I was given the opportunity to do just that through Redeemer's Gotham Fellowship Program. Gotham seeks to help us grasp the power of the gospel, which strips us of a dualistic lifestyle and bridges our faith and our work. It has been a challenging journey, yet one of great impact in my own life. God is building in me a biblical worldview to understand, analyze, and interact with the world around me. On a personal level, realizing that my true justification comes through the redemptive work of Christ on the cross makes a difference in how I approach my job. I'm no longer forced to turn to my work to make me righteous or to justify my existence. With this in mind, I am freed to do my job with joy and without anxiety because my identity and worth comes from Christ and not my job. A liberated and joyful nurse makes a dramatic difference in the lives and experiences of ill children and their families. I'm also learning that the gospel is at work in the hospital itself. God's grace extends beyond me, and even in the midst of pain and suffering, in the hospital, there is renewal through that pain. Working on a pediatric oncology unit, I see this on a regular basis. Cancer treatment takes the patient to the brink of death, where there's more pain and suffering and weakness than the patient or the family has ever known before. But through this suffering, I have seen life emerge, whether it's through the remission of the cancer or through family bonds that have been more deeply forged. The patients and the families are changed, and they often go out and want to serve others. I'm continuing to grapple with this integration of faith and work. The application of the truth of the gospel is unending, yet I'm beginning to see the difference it makes in my life and work, and I look forward to an even deeper transformation in the coming years.
Would you please stand and join me in prayer? Belisa?